Okay, kindergartners, like I said in the morning video today, we are going to do the letter X. Now, you're thinking, fox does not start with an X. But you're right, but it ends with an X. And it's very hard to find an animal that starts with an X. So here's a picture of the fox that we're going to make. You will need your usual supplies, scissors, some sort of a glue, green and black crayon, a trash tray. So I have already glued on my X's at the top right corner and put the fun fact at the bottom. Foxes belong to the dog family. They are cunning hunters, that means they're sneaky, that eat rodents and sometimes kill the farmer's chickens. Farmers don't like foxes. Okay, so you can see all of our pieces are orange. Pretty crazy. We're going to be using these two pieces first, the very biggest and then the next biggest. So the rest of these pieces I'm going to set aside. Going to get my trash tray out, get my largest piece, because that is the first one I'm going to use. I'm going to hold it in a vertical position, and I am only going to cut off the top two corners. This will be your fox's body, and I'm going to magic cut those corners. Okay, so got his body. Now I'm going to add some glue dots, one in each corner, and then I am going to glue it in the middle of the paper, and I'm going to glue it down kind of close to the words, but not too close. Okay? Okay, next piece is that piece we set aside, and now it's the largest piece that you have. This is his head, and we are going to cut all four corners and magic cut that. And hopefully when you're done, it looks kind of like an oval. Okay, and when we glue it on, we're going to glue it in a horizontal position. This would be vertical. Don't want it that way. I want it horizontal. So I'm going to add glue dots and glue it right on top of, overlap it on top of the body a little bit. Voila. Okay. Now I am going to get, so of all of these orange pieces, let's figure out our next two pieces we are going to use. You can see we have a long orange one, a little bit shorter orange one, a lot shorter, and then a really short orange one. And these all look like they're about the same width. And then we have this piece that is kind of a fat piece, short and fat. So the one we're going to use now is the shortest one. So this is going to be our next one that we're going to use. And then the one after that is going to be this kind of fat one. So here's our next two pieces that we're going to use. And I'm going to just scoot these a little bit off my workspace. Okay, so we're using the smallest one, and I'm going to get my trash tray ready. Actually, I don't need my trash tray. These are going to be the fox's ears, and I am going to cut it on the diagonal from corner to corner, so I end up with two triangles. And like I said, we don't need the trash tray because we're going to use both. These are the fox's ears, and we're going to be sliding these underneath the fox's head, about where his ears should go. And you will notice that it's actually kind of getting glued right on top of my X. That's fine. Sometimes you see books kind of do that. So make sure you get some glue up at the corner, put some glue, and then I'm sliding it underneath where seems like the other ear should go. Okay, now I said we were going to use our fat piece. Okay, this one is going to be his muzzle. We're going to fold this in half on the long way, or on the line of the vertical line of symmetry. That is the fancy math way to say it. And I am going to cut from corner to corner. And when I cut, I'm going to kind of make it a little bowed. Okay, so you should end up with 2 smaller triangles and 1 bigger triangle. This is going to get glued right here, and you can kind of almost not see it because it's all the same color, but we will be taking care of that problem when we use our crayons. So I am going to glue that kind of in the middle of his face and pointing down towards his body. And I put glue on all 4 corners. Okay, our next piece we're going to use. So we have 3 pieces left, and we have the longest one, next medium, and then shortest. So we are going to be using the longest rectangle, then we're going to use the next longest. So I'm going to put the next longest rectangle over here because that's the next one I'm going to use, but the longest one is what I'm going to use now. This is going to be his tail, and what I am going to do for his tail is I'm going to make 1 cut, and I am going to start cutting at this corner, and I am just going to basically, whoops, cut off a big corner. So I didn't mean to cut that, but so that's pretty much what it looks like. I'm just giving it a one nice cut like that. Like I said, this is his tail. So I'm going to put some glue dots on the back of his tail, and I am going to be sliding his tail so it's sticking up kind of by his head under his body. Okay, now we're going to use what's left of the largest rectangle. I had that set aside, and these are going to be his hind legs. Now our fox is going to be sitting, so we are going to fold this in half on the horizontal line of symmetry, and we are going to only cut the top 2 corners. So you're going to hold it in a horizontal position and then cut just the top 2 corners. Magic cut that like so, so it looks kind of like a hill. Open that up, and if it's still together, you can cut that apart on the fold. So these are his hind legs, which are going to go right here, and they are going to be slipped underneath the body, and I'm going to match them up at the bottom right here. So one goes here, the other one's going to go right here. So glue dots, and I want it to also be on top of the tail. So see if you can slide it all the way down to the bottom down here and over the tail but under the body. Okay, our last piece, the last orange piece. Okay, these are going to be your fox's feet, his front feet. Not his hind feet, his front feet. We're not going to be able to see the hind feet. So we're going to cut all 4 corners and magic cut this. So hopefully when you are done, it will look like ovals. And these are going to be his paws, like I said. I called them feet. Paws, feet. Okay, now when you open it up, if it's still together, you can cut it apart, and then we're going to be gluing these at the bottom of his body, down here at the bottom. And when I glue them, I don't want to glue them close to each other. I want one to be over here and one to be over here. So I am going to add glue one sticking down like that, and glue the other one sticking down like that. Voila! Finished with our fox. Now all we need to do is add the green and the black crayons. So let's start with the green. The green is going to be tufts of grass. So I'm just going to add some kind of squiggly tufts around to show that my fox is kind of out over there sneaking around in the grass. Okay, the black. So this is what we're going to do. Let's start with the top of our fox. We're going to start with his ears. Foxes tend to have kind of, they're one color, but they have like darker black on a lot of their parts of their fur. So I'm going to kind of just color the top of the tips of his ears and just have it extend down a little ways for his ears. Okay, now let's go with the face. I am going to put 2 eyes where the eyes should be for my fox. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is come down to the end of his nose, and I'm going to color the end of his nose to show that's his nose. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing we did to the ears to the tip of his tail. So I am going to color the end of his tail kind of like that to show that's the end of his tail. Okay, now these are his front paws, but you can't really see his legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the line of the edge of his body, and then I'm going to move my crayon over here to kind of the other side of his paw, and I'm going to make a straight line up, and I tried to make it even. I didn't do a very good job. And then I'm going to follow the side of his body over here and then move my crayon over part way and then draw another line up. Now I'm going to go ahead and color, but I also want to see through the orange. I didn't make those equal. Okay, so I want some orange showing through, but I want to make it black so you can tell that those are his legs. And then I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, kind of, his paws or his claws. Okay, so there is our fox. Make sure you turn it over and write your name on the back. Okay, have fun making your fox.